Thank you very much, Matthew, and thank you, Julie, thank you, Rike, thank you, Roman, for the great words at the beginning. I think Julie has made the case for a strategic approach to sustainability very well. So it is really a no-brainer that we as the Czech Olympic Committee, as total beginners 4 years ago, we wanted to go this way. But as the name of today's event suggests, it all started with inspiration for us. It wasn't a strategic approach as such that would be the driving force at the very beginning. You might recognize some of you on that picture. It was taken in 2017 during a meeting of sports parks inspired by the Olympic project that we were coordinating at that time in Finland. The project's aim was to come up with a concept and a handbook for organizers of Olympic festivals, so events organized during the Olympic Games duration in the home countries. Part of that project, of course, as of any sport events, was a chapter, or let's say a section on sustainability. And Finland, at that time, for us, was the beacon of light of sustainability. We learned about fantastic initiatives when we were in Helsinki. And then when we were flying home, we were with my colleagues at the airport having our pre-departure beer, as we usually do. And we were just like, wow, this was something fantastic. Fast forward 1 year. It was about this time of the year that we held the final conference of the project. And then we realized that partnerships and cooperation are perhaps the way to go if we want to build on the inspiration that we got in Finland and move ourselves as organization further. But we knew we were beginners. And again, you can recognize Julie there. It was the first time that we actually met Julie. We learned some more during that event about sustainability, so the inspiration was still there. The idea of cooperation and that it can really help us was absolutely there. We've tried it during that project, but during other initiatives within the Olympic movement. But then came also the idea of partnership. We knew that unlike in the sport parks inspired by the Olympics project, where we were the holders of the idea and the leaders, we were the beginners. We needed to learn. And so we had this perhaps quite forward idea or forward-looking idea that maybe there's somebody who will want to teach us and who will want to help us. And indeed there were. We found fantastic partners, fantastic 3 national Olympic committees who were willing to share their know-how, knowledge, experience with the 3 beginners, 3 NOCs, and we formed the ASAP project. The idea, as Roman has already mentioned, won traction at the European Commission. We were very happy, and we are very happy for the financial support. The project was approved. And so here we are, 4 years later, 2 Olympics later, 1 pandemic, countless and countless hours of work on sustainability in sport. And this is the ASAP Forum. We're finishing the project at the end of the year, but really the content-wise, let's say, today. And what we're hoping to do with today's event, and I am sure that you perceive it already, or you have perceived it with my 3 predecessors here on the stage, it is inspiration. It is a platform that is to serve you, to be able to bring home to your organizations some ideas, some good practice examples, and hopefully also the project will help you a little bit. So now let me get to some of the nitty-gritty details of the past 3 years and of what we have achieved. So first of all, we have built on what Julie has presented on a strategic approach. So we wanted to, as a vision of the project, we wanted to move from ad hoc one-off events. A true inspiration at that time for us was the IOC's approach. So that was the project's vision. And the mission, quite simple actually, for the mentee organizations, and I will just present them in the moment, to adopt sustainability strategies and start implementing them. And for the 3 mentors who had at the beginning of the project been quite a bit further than we were, to improve their own strategies, operations through the partnership with all of us. So here it is, here we are. This is the famous ASAP partnership, led by the Czech Olympic Committee as a mentee, together with us, the Hungarian and Slovak National Olympic Committees as mentees, and then the National Olympic Committees of Germany, Finland and Denmark as our great mentors. Of course, supported by the International Olympic Committee, financially supported and co-financed by the European Commission. 3 years of hard work and 2 years, just to repeat, under the COVID regime, which in the end didn't really stop us, and I'm very, very happy about that. And how we work together, I mentioned the mentor-mentee. It was a very important method, very easy, in a way, perhaps better known in an individual setting, but it did work very well for us in the organizational setting too. Not only the individuals involved in the project did exchange and became really great mentor-mentee duos, while also the reverse mentorship worked, as we heard from our mentors who have learned quite a bit from us, they say, so I hope that's really the case. But also at the organizational level. When we visited each other during our what we called bilateral visits, we managed to introduce each other's activities in various areas, not only sustainability per se. So I think the learning went both ways beyond the individual learnings. Then what was key for us was an open knowledge sharing, really honest, open sharing also of the not so great experiences. So I think that was really crucial within the project. And of course, we work very hard, and I'll show you the results of the project on the common documents and guidance documents. We build partnerships not only within our project, but also beyond the sports world. And of course, this is also why we are here. We try to share and inspire, hopefully, others on their journeys. And here is just a very quick roundup of a couple of numbers. So you can see that we've been meeting, of course, online, a bit more than offline. Thanks God for the pandemic to perhaps not stop completely, but ease down. We have also dedicated a substantial amount of time to learning and to training. So this was a very important part of the whole process. As I mentioned, we've organized some visits in between the National Olympic Committee, something that I can absolutely recommend to anybody. Just ask your peers and go and visit and learn from them. And we have also organized a number of events at national level, especially by the mentee organizations, working with schools, working with the general public, and so on. And we've, of course, promoted the project widely. And what is perhaps not so visible are the hundreds and hundreds of hours of work on the sustainability strategies within the organizations and on sustainability in sport in general within our movement. And who was behind this whole work? So it's the 10 brave women and men of the ASAP team. But it's also many, many others. We had, you can see it on the screen, 18 experts involved on working with us on the project outputs, reviewing, providing input. We had 7 reviewers of those common documents that I will show you in a moment. We, of course, had support professionals, if you will, webmasters, graphic designers, proofreaders. And then, and this is the, let's say, foundation, the tens and tens of colleagues in our organizations who were involved very heavily, including our leadership, in the strategy creation processes. It is also our colleagues from the Czech Olympic Committee who have been working with us in the project and who are, might not be so visible, taking care of the finance, taking care of the organization of today's event. Thank you so much for your great work and involvement. And lastly, so the fact and figures, what were the results? So 3 strategies, 3 case studies, 1 roadmap, and 5 tools that go hand in hand with the roadmap. And now a little bit more details. So this was more about the project itself, how it worked out, but how it can inspire and help you. Very brief outline. You will find everything on the ASAP project website, so I also hope that our online participants will check it out, as you will, I'm sure. So first, and this is I think what we're the proudest of, are the 3 sustainability strategies. Please do have a look at them. I think these are the ultimate, most inspirational documents that you can find. If you'd like to find out a little bit more about the process, about how the mentee organizations, the NOCs, came to where they are today, then please do check the case studies. Not only do they include the description of the process, but they also include some pretty cool tips and recommendations on how to go about it. And then we come to the main common guidance document, common inspiration, hopefully for you, and that is the ASAP roadmap to creating a sustainability strategy. It is a document that will hopefully serve also you in creating or improving your sustainability strategy. It is composed of several parts, internal, external process, how to set it up. However, the most important part, in my view, is the step-by-step process, as you can see here, depicted as a journey that, of course, starts, it doesn't come whole round, and it continues, because ultimately adoption of the strategy is not the end, that's the beginning. This is just a print screen of one of the chapters. It's the organizational screening. It's the first step on this journey. And as you can see over there, there is an underlined ASAP organizational screening sentence. And this sentence leads to what we call the ASAP toolbox. And that's a set of 6 documents, 5 of which we produce within the project, that go hand in hand with the roadmap, and it will hopefully inspire and give you tips on the various subjects further. The first one, should you want to organize a training for your staff in the organizations, you might find some tips on how we did it and what worked for us as something that you can use in your organization. The making the case for sustainability, that's quite a handy document should you need to convince your leadership or maybe your colleagues that this is indeed the right journey that you're taking. So it's full of arguments, if you will. The third document has been given to us kindly by the IOC, and it includes the structure of how a sustainability strategy of a National Olympic Committee, but ultimately also national federations or even club could look like. So it is not by coincidence that the 3 sustainability strategies have a very similar framework or a very similar, let's say, table of contents. This is the very reason. Then we have the organizational screening, which is basically an audit that you can do internally, so this will help you with it. The next document will help you set up your priorities. And the last document, and perhaps one of the most important of the 6, is some tips and recommendations on how to communicate internally and externally sustainability-related topics. And this is it for the tangible. But of course, we also have some intangible results, which I would hope can inspire you as well. We have created a great network in between us, and this really helped us drive the processes in our organizations further. I think at organizational level, we are also changing mindsets and perceptions. That takes time, of course, but the process has been launched, and I think it cannot be stopped, and it's a good thing. We increase the organizational capacity. People have learned of all the organizations. And we have acquired new partners for various activities in and beyond the sports world. And for us, individuals involved in the project, of course, we've learned so much. Really, this has been an incredible learning journey for all of us. So that's point number 1. I think we've all adopted some sustainability-related changes at personal level. Because once you start looking at things a little differently, you can't go back. So I don't think any of us has really become a vegetarian completely, but we might have started considering our choices in our lives in general. But so that's the individual level. And of course, we've got new friendships that have been formed and that will, I'm sure, continue beyond the project. All right, so in a sum up, some key takeaways from the project, and also to share them with you as an inspiration for the further journey. So as I mentioned at the beginning, an honest exchange of experiences in any work on sustainability, in our opinion, is really key. A second, and this is where with which the project started, don't be afraid to ask for help, both as individual, for anything, as well as an organization. Don't be afraid to ask somebody to mentor you, and that's the point in the corner there. Another important point is to keep your eyes and ears open to further inspiration. This has proven as one of the most efficient methods, if you will, of the project. Then coming back to the communication point, do not underestimate internal communications. Talk to your colleagues honestly, and do not criticize or over-criticize. Everybody is trying to do their best. And let's just talk to each other honestly and come up maybe with some ways how we can change things together if we need to. That brings me to the last dark green point, and it is learning from each other and not being afraid to reach beyond our little sport bubble. And last point, and that goes beyond, let's say, the SDG 17, and that's partnership and cooperation. If you cannot reach big objectives at the beginning, it doesn't matter. Every step and activity counts, and it's always better than doing nothing. And I would add here that in a strategic way, of course, is the best. So last but not least, I would like to reiterate my thanks to everyone involved in the ASAP project, to all of you sitting here who have made the journey to come to Prague, to all of you online as well, to all our Czech Olympic Committee leadership, to our colleagues that have been involved in the project and in today's event, and to the tens and perhaps even altogether hundreds of people who helped us on the journey and who are there with us. So thank you. You'll find all the information on the website. And now to learn more from my colleagues, I will hand over to Matthew. Thank you very much.